Okay, so this happened Friday, February 19th, I believe it was. I'm going north on 91 in Eastlake, just out of Willoughby, coming up on US Route 20. And as you can see, there's about 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of me. We're all going about the speed limit. And there's one green van behind me, and that's important because you'll see in a second, the asshole in the green van wasn't happy with how fast I was going, so he decided to pass me. And there's still plenty of car lengths in front of me. He doesn't have to, be a douche, but you see he starts slowing down there, gets in front of me, and you see he's still on the brakes, still on the brakes, still on the brakes, and then he does a brake check. And there's the brake check. So he was behind me. He didn't really even have to pass me, but he was trying to do something. And I passed him now because I wanted to get away from him.
Bitch, here you go.
And now he's behind me and he's flipping me off and pretending like he's saluting me because I've got veteran plates. And he brings that up here in a minute. And at first I didn't know what the problem was, because he was behind me. There was no reason he needed to pass me because apparently he was just going up here to the Steak and Shake anyways. So he could have stayed behind me for the other, but he just had to get in front of me. So you can see here I left plenty of car lengths ahead of me when we got to the light. I usually don't leave that much room, but I didn't know what that guy behind me was going to do. I didn't know if he was going to rear end me or what because he was being such an a-hole. But turns out he was just a coward anyways. He didn't have any balls.
Oh,
so
poor baby.
He's still flipping me off. He turns on his blinker. So I turn on my blinker and I'm going to pull in. I'm going to see where he's pulling in because I want to ask him what his effing problem is. And he turned into the Steak and Shake, so I turned into the Burger King here. You'll see him. He's right there. He's right there in front of me. And you'll see he's already got his door open. And he comes charging up at my car. And he's already yelling at me because, once you turn your blinker on, you're allowed to cut people off and then slam on the brakes, try and get them to rear end you. That was his problem. He's like, I have my blinker on. Well, he turned his blinker on. You can see it. He turned his blinker on as he was starting to change lanes. Turned his blinker on and changed lanes at the same time. Then he kept slowing down, and then he did a brake check. So he was trying to cause a wreck. And eventually, come to find out that his granddaughter's in the car, too. So I can't help but wonder, if he's trying to cause a wreck so he can get a payday and his granddaughter can get a payday, or what his problem is. But I knew something was up as soon as he started saying, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you. And he kept trying to say, trying to get me to throw the first punch at him because he didn't have enough balls to do it himself, And he's talking shit about veterans and, talking shit about people with PTSD and, try that PTSD shit on me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, here we are. You're more than happy to accommodate you if you want to, take a shot at the title there, champ. But he wouldn't do shit, just kept talking shit. And then he comes up and he spits on my car. And then he spits on me. And that's when I started getting pissed. So I start walking towards his car and I'm going to spit on his piece of shit car. And he's like, you better not do nothing. My granddaughter's in the car. And I'm like, well, you weren't concerned about your granddaughter when you're, doing brake checks and cutting people off, changing lanes, and all that shit. That was okay for you then, but now your granddaughter's in the car. So he just kept talking shit. He spit on me. He spit on my car. Wouldn't do anything. And started calling me, white boy this and white boy that. And, I figure that's probably why he was pissed off, is because veterans are getting, some help from the government now with PTSD, and it's taking money from the welfare scumbags like him that are probably on Section 8. Just obviously just trying to get paydays however they can by, causing wrecks with other people who aren't doing shit. And, that was about the end of that, but eventually I just got in the car here and took off here in about a minute. So that was the end of that. So just if you live in that area, just keep an eye out for an almost black guy he's not even completely black. He's just like got a tan and a big old fat nasty white wife So, you know, for being a racist like he is, it's funny he was, you know, he married a white chick, so I don't know what his problem is with white people. But if you live in the Willoughby or Eastlake area, keep an eye out for a piece of shit in a green minivan, because he'll try to brake check you just so he can get his payday. And hopefully, if he does do it, you'll happen across this video and be able to take it to court too, because that was his thing. You know, obviously he was trying to cause a wreck, but just a big old fat piece of shit, no balls, nothing between his legs except a little bit of a pussy there. And that's about all I got to say about that.